in 5 Canadians are expected to be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. It's the leading cause of death in our country, and it can come without warning.
And no one knows that more than our next guest, a very familiar face to all of us and a friend of the morning show. Fashion journalist, author, speaker Jeanne Beker joins us to share her story. Jeanne, it's always good to see you. Welcome back to TMS.
A pleasure seeing you guys.
Okay, the stats, Carolyn just mentioned a few there. They really are startling. And nobody expects it to happen.
Nobody, exactly. And then they go like, and why me? And how did that happen? And you just kind of almost feel like a freak or something. But for me, I had just turned 70 in May of 2022. And I was feeling very empowered because, hey, I was 70 and I was still working and just feeling great and on top of my game. And, you know, I was going to write a book about empowerment with age. And I went for my annual mammogram. And I got a call a few days later saying, oh, we found a mass. A mass? Well, what do you mean? It's probably nothing. It must just be a cyst or something. No, you know, we need you to come back for an ultrasound and a biopsy, which is, one of the other scariest words in the English language. And I was just incredulous. And, you know, in those days when you're waiting to go back for the test and then waiting for the test results, you go down some pretty dark rabbit holes. And you feel very alone and you feel just totally freaked out. Like, you start, should I get my life in order? Is it time to plan my funeral? But I went back for the biopsy and the ultrasound, and it was discovered that I had a 3-centimeter mass lump in my left breast. And, and again, scary stuff. But I was referred to a wonderful surgeon at Mighty Cancer Centre here in Toronto. And I remember having to go to that first meeting with my oncologist and thinking like, I can't do this. I've got to walk through the doors of a cancer center. That's like the last place you ever want to go. And then as I walked through the doors, I remembered a saying Confucius once said, wherever you go, go with all your heart. And I thought, I'm going to make this into my temple of healing. I'm going to put a positive spin on this because I think that's the only way. I love my life too much to let fear rob me of my joy.
And everyone, I love that. And I think you have to do that when you're faced with such news. But it's hard for, and everyone's experience is so different. Some people go within, some people go super private. But you, in that moment, said you went public with it.
Yeah.
Did that help?
Wow. Oh, I got Carolyn. I tell you, it was. I know it sounds so crazy to hear me say this now, but it's one of the biggest blessings of my life was that I was determined to go public with my story because I thought my life's always been an open book. It would be totally hypocritical of me to, want to keep this a secret. Although I know for a lot of people, I don't blame them. They don't want to go public with it. But I remember the first day I sat in the chair in the chemo pod, the very first day. It happened to be National Cancer Wellness Day. I didn't even know there was such a thing. And I thought, okay. And I went on my Instagram and I took a picture, sent it out there and said, I've got breast cancer. Well, the response to that, the comments, the DMs that came back to me, doubled my Instagram following overnight. And the messages of positivity and the prayers and the love that came back to me. And that became the wind beneath my wings that really helped carry me through the journey.
Yeah, tell us a bit more about that, Jeanne. What did that response and what did those messages, what did they mean to you?
I just felt so loved, and I've heard people say that before when you go through a breast cancer journey, especially. Like, there's so many people that will, can relate to that. And they've had, either they've gone through it themselves or they've had their aunts or their sisters or their mothers. And I've just never felt so much love. And knowing that there was a team out there, like, cheering me on, and knowing that I wasn't alone, because people shared their stories with me. That's the most important thing. Like, nobody wants to feel alone. And nobody has to be alone if you just open up and normalize the conversation.
But that's the thing, not everyone has that support. What is your advice for anyone listening right now who is going through a cancer diagnosis?
You do not have to be alone. I mean, you might be living alone, you might not have a significant other or a family, but there are places that you can go. There, you can really reach out and talk to support groups and people out there. There's so many people that have gone through this and that can offer the help that you need. I mean, you really don't have to be alone. You have to step out of yourself a little bit. It's part of the the courage that you'll have to draw on, like to just and realize it's part of being human. Yeah, sometimes we get sick, but there's no reason to suffer, in silence and be alone like that. And just, my parents raised me with an incredible motto that saw them through the war as Holocaust survivors. Don't be afraid and never give up. And I think it's that fearless and tenacity in any situation that's going to help see you through. But in a situation, with cancer, it really is meaningful, really meaningful, and it's certainly what saw me through.
Well, Jeanne Beker, it goes without saying you certainly are an inspiration to many of us, and really appreciate you and appreciate the message.
Oh, well, it's been an absolute blessing to have gone through this journey and now to be able to touch people in this way. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Right. Great to see you as always. Thanks, Jeanne.
Thank you.
This portion of the morning show is brought to you by the Canadian Cancer Society. Donate at cancer.ca/holiday.